You're listening to the November edition of the Sponsorship Experts podcast with Paul Poole, Director of Paul Poole Southeast Asia Co Limited and founder of the Sponsorship Experts. In this episode, we'll be featuring news about the sponsorship opportunities for the FIVB Women's Volleyball World Championship Thailand in 2025, the ASN Brands in Volleyball Asia 2024 report, and we'll be looking at some interesting trends in sponsorship in the region, including from the gambling world. So let's get on with it. So here we are again for the November podcast, and we haven't got a great deal to go through this week or this month, but we will go through some of it in quite a lot of more detail than we can normally do, right?
For sure.
Okay, so we have the FIVB, which you can't really say, can you? It's not like one of those acronyms. FIVB. No, it doesn't work. And that is, of course, the Women's Volleyball World Championships.
Yep. So we spoke about our reappointment by Volleyball World in the last episode, and this is the first of, we hope, several events. So we have commercial sponsorship and partnership opportunities now available for the FIVB Women's Volleyball World Championships Thailand 2025, which will be taking place in 4 provinces from the 22nd of August to the 7th of September. The provinces are, I should name them, we have Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Nakhon Ratchasima and Phuket, and the finals will be back in Bangkok as well.
And it's hugely popular here in Thailand, right?
Very, very, very popular, largely down to the fans of the women's national team. I mean, really, volleyball has become a very important sport, actually, over the last sort of 3-4 years. So very, very excited about this tournament to come here, those championships.
We have some rough idea of how many will watch live from previous events. So what do you reckon for this one?
Well, I think in the stadiums, there's going to be around 200,000 people across the 88 matches over 2 weeks. And I think each of the Thai matches will have 10,000 people watching. But if we look back at the broadcast numbers of the VNL that happened, the VNL pool events that happened in 2023 and the finals that happened in 2024, I mean, about 5 million Thais tuned in to watch each Thai match on Channel 7. I mean, it's just huge numbers, huge numbers.
I mean, it helps that Thailand are very good at volleyball as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's not kind of that many sports that they compete at the level that they do with volleyball. I mean, some boxing, obviously Muay Thai, but this is one of those things where it's just, I think it's a positive kind of circle, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the better Thailand become at it, the more Thai people want to play it, plus the more talent they've got access to.
And the women's national team, I mean, the whole package. I mean, they're very good on the court. They're really engaging on social media.
Yeah.
They've got everything going on. So you can see why they're so popular and why there's such huge fan engagement with those girls.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them in action at the previous when we interviewed the organisers of this. And they were there. They were filming themselves. Everyone's filming them. They were fun, enthusiastic. So yeah, brilliant. This is like a global league system, right? I think if people want to know how that league works, they should go and look at the newsletter, because I think it's explained.
Yeah, I mean, the World Championship, it's a World Championship event, so there's preliminary rounds, pool events, and then the final. And we've gone into detail about how the championship works in the newsletter, as you've said. There are 32 teams across 88 matches, and those teams include the hosts from Thailand, the current world champions, Serbia, plus the top 3 teams from each continent: Africa, Asia, Europe, North and Central and South America, and then the remaining teams from the world's top 30 rankings. So and there's a full list of all the teams again in the newsletter. So I think if anybody's interested in more detail, check out the newsletter.
Yeah, and I mean, this is domestically a huge event, and internationally in that world,
Yeah,
a huge event
I mean,
as well.
this championship used to happen every 4 years. Because it's so popular now, it's every 2 years, but it's still only every 2 years that this happens. And Thailand had to bid to win the rights to host this event.
Right.
So Thailand won the bid to host this event. So really very very important event for Thailand, but also for volleyball in Thailand as well. So
And
I
it's
think
it's all condensed into 2 weeks.
it's
the whole
a
thing.
couple of weeks, and again across 4 provinces in Thailand. So it won't be just the capital city benefiting, which is often the case. We have provinces all across the country. So really looking forward to this event later next year.
And in terms of sponsorship, can we go into detail about what's available?
Sure. Actually, we only have 2 tiers of rights for this event. So in tier 1, we have official event sponsors, and we're looking for 6 of those. And in tier 2, we have official event sponsors, and we're looking for 6 of those as well. So 2 tiers. We're currently out there talking to around 250 brands, 250 brands, and we're looking for specific industry categories as well. So a rare opportunity and not that many positions to grab. So we expect to fully sell these positions quite quickly. So watch this space. Hopefully some great announcements to come.
When is the event?
The event is the 22nd of August to the 7th of September 2025.
But we don't want people relaxing, thinking they've got until then
No.
to get involved in the sponsorship.
Of course, no.
This is going to be gone soon.
Yeah, it's going to sell quickly, and also the quicker sponsors are on board, the more they can leverage it, because they have more time to leverage and activate their sponsorships, which is always key as well. So the quicker people are in, the more benefit that they get.
Right. Are you ready for a really smooth link into the next bit? If people are curious about the power of advertising and sponsorship in the volleyball world, and they want to look at some more kind of nuts and bolts details about that, I think possibly the best thing that they could do is to get hold of the ASN Brands in Volleyball Asia publication.
The report, yes.
The report.
What a great idea.
Yeah. Who makes that? Who can we ask?
So, I mean, this is actually a great example of how we leverage our ownership of Asia Sponsorship News, because obviously Asia Sponsorship News is an independently operated subsidiary of ours, but we obviously use ASN ourselves to get the data that we want to help us in our work for our clients. So, I mean, in the newsletter about the FIVB Women's Volleyball World Championships Thailand 2025 event, we've put in some stats there. I mean, for example, there are more than 21 million volleyball fans in Thailand. Now, that data came out of the ASN report. So, Pool Southeast Asia, we've sponsored another syndicated report for ASN Brands in Volleyball Asia 2024. We've looked at all the key players in that sector, who's sponsoring what, where and why, and we've created, or ASN have created, a syndicated report with lots and lots and lots of detail. As we've said before, when we've talked about football and when we talked about our market analysis, it doesn't make great listening for a podcast because it's just too many numbers. So I will try to be precise with my overview, but there's a lot more detail in the report.
I've got a siren here, just to let you know if we've all glazed over.
There's a lot of numbers.
No, I've seen it already, and I know that this is critical information. So go for it.
So at $415 million US, global volleyball sponsorship in 2023 accounted for just 0.7% of all sponsorships, sports sponsorship worldwide at $63.74 billion US. In Asia in 2023, 38.4 million was invested in volleyball, ranking 11th, accounting for only 1% of all regional sports sponsorship, but 9.3% of the global volleyball sponsorship market. Between 2013 and 2020, volleyball sponsorship grew by 280% before falling victim to the COVID-19 pandemic, falling back to 2016 levels in 2021. So took a big hit during the pandemic.
As did everything, really.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely. I mean, demonstrating the strength of the platform in Asia, 2023 saw an investment climb rapidly back to just below the 2020 high point, reflecting the rapid rise in popularity of volleyball globally and in Asia particularly. So, that's a really great overview of the report. There's granular detail in the report, but let me read through the conclusion of the report, because I think that will give listeners some greater insight if they just want to take on board the numbers. With 9.3% of the global volleyball sponsorship market, Asia punched well above its weight in 2023, bearing out the claim by Volleyball World CEO, our friend Finn Taylor, that the future of volleyball is in Asia, particularly in China, Thailand, Japan and India, which dominate the sponsorship scene. And we talked earlier that Thailand was top and has dropped below China this year. Volleyball is a relatively new sponsorship platform, so changes to the rankings of sponsorship categories cannot be taken as indicative of meaningful trends. RuPay, 15%, as the biggest sponsor by far, as well as Escola at 5%, were each responsible for the huge upheavals. Financial services, plus 18%, non-alcoholic beverages, plus 13%, at the top end of the category rankings. This was distinct from being a general move by their individual market sectors to support volleyball. Similarly, China's position as the leading country in terms of Asian volleyball sponsorship rests on a near regimental take-up by 9 companies, all main sponsors of the China Volleyball League, representing 80% of all Chinese volleyball sponsorships. So that really kind of skews the numbers. Pan-Asia, while ranking...
So China can't be taken as
it
organic, typical...
It can't really, no. I mean, if you look at India, India is just one sponsor, RuPay. So you need to read between the lines with the numbers.
Right.
Pan-Asia, while ranked 5th out of 5, is of interest in that 68% of the total sponsorship was in gambling and technology categories that failed to make their presence felt in other 4 top markets. And I think that's down to legislation, certainly with gambling. Right. And on a sidebar, we're actually taking a close look at gambling, and in the new year, there will be a gambling syndicated report looking at that industry category across Asia, in particularly with the move and tighter regulations in Europe. So that'll be an interesting one.
So regulations are becoming tighter in Europe, whereas in Asia they might be relaxing.
Yeah, I think we see this with lots of industry categories. So where gambling sponsorships are tightening up, being prohibitive, shirt sponsorship in the EPL, for example, where Asia is still opening up. I mean, we see here in Thailand we're very close to legalizing casinos here. So we're hoping that those categories will open up here in Asia for a time.
And the markets here are nowhere near, by definition, as mature as the ones in Europe that are being pulled back.
Yeah, I mean, they're not as mature, but they are much larger. I mean, in terms of numbers. Yeah. So I think it's interesting because yes, Europe, North America, those are very mature markets in terms of sponsorship, where Asia is really where the money's being spent right now. Right. So, less mature, but actually a lot more growth happening.
Exciting times.
And then finally, on the ASN Brands in Volleyball Asia 2024 syndicated report, 25% all volleyball sponsorship went to women's sub-brands or sub-platforms, as opposed to sub-platforms for both men and women, which sits well with the inherent values of the sport around diversity, equality, and inclusion.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that and actually I think we spoke with Finn about this, where a lot of sports around the world would love to have more women or more women's sports, where volleyball is very dominant with women's sports.
I think when people think volleyball, they immediately think women.
Well, I think we do,
and I don't think that's just the beach volleyball kind of thing. I think it's just
it's
volleyball
interesting
generally.
Because again, I spoke with Finn about this, and we do here in Asia. But if you look at North America, it's very male focused. So I think it's really depends on where you are.
Right.
Yeah.
If you'd like to get in touch with Paul Pool Southeast Asia Co Limited, you can email us on info@paulpool.co.th, Or you can go to the website paulpool.co.th, or you can call us on +66 2622 0605 through to 7. Okay, so I think that we should open the any other business with something that I'm going to personally enjoy quite a lot, and that's you correcting something that you got wrong.
Yeah, I blame you actually, but yes, it was my mistake. So in our September 2024 podcast, I said Gumball 3000's 25th anniversary was taking place in January, when I obviously meant September, as we were there and recording in September. So I have no idea why I was trying to fast forward Q4. But anyway, so I apologise.
I think there might be some clues as to
Well,
why.
there could be. And in our October 2024 podcast, I got confused between dawn and dusk when speaking about Laguna Phuket Marathon 2025 race days. So to correct myself, the 10K, 5K and 2K races will take place at dusk, sunset, on Saturday the 14th of June 2025. And the marathon relay and half marathon will take place at dawn, sunrise, on Sunday the 15th of June 2025. So
are you sure?
I'm not sure, because I'm still getting confused between dusk and dawns. But anyway,
You're not much of a dawn guy, really.
Yeah, or dusk. Exactly. So there are probably other mistakes over the past year that I haven't noticed listening back. But perhaps we should stop recording our podcast at the cigar bar while drinking bourbon.
Perhaps not.
But not today. Not yet. Yeah.
Before we drink any more of this rather lovely bourbon, I think we need to talk about in more general terms, something we've alluded to quite often in the previous podcast, but not in much detail, and that's the whole social media kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a big subject. I mean, we're not going to do it all, but
I mean, we talk often in these episodes about the reach of social media for the events we represent and for the platforms we represent. We harness digital a lot ourselves. We obviously use our website as our key sales tool, key communication tool, the newsletter being part of that, the podcast rolling out from the newsletter. But socials, I mean, social media, we use, actually not all social media channels. We use a few social media channels. So obviously LinkedIn, very important when we're a B2B business. We use X, formerly Twitter. We use Facebook, and of course YouTube, where we put videos and the podcast episodes. So we use an array of social media channels, and we do something that's known as mission-led marketing. Okay, so we actually post and share stories that we find interesting ourselves. So, during breakfast every morning, the team and I are looking at numerous articles, reading what's happening around the world, in the world of sponsorship, or in the world of sports, or in the world of arts, and we post and share those stories, even if they're from our competitors around the world. So if we find something interesting and relevant, we will share that, even if we're not working on that particular event or platform, because we feel that our followers, our fans will also find it interesting, and it seems to work. We obviously splice that in with stories about ourselves and our products and services, but for every 10 posts, or every 50 posts actually, only one will be about our products and services. The rest will be about interesting news and subjects. So we find that quite useful. We have good engagement. People reach out through socials to engage with us in terms of our products and services, in terms of the events we represent. And interestingly, we get a lot of engagement from people wanting to attend events, which is actually not our remit. We're not there selling tickets or worried really about the participants of the events, because that's somebody else's job. But it gives us a great reason to communicate with people and engage with people that we're not trying to sell anything to, that we're actually just pleased to share information. So
Yeah.
So we're very active on socials.
No, I get them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, yeah. I mean, we can always improve, but I think I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased with the numbers we have, with the level of engagement. We're obviously a B2B business to business business, so we're not looking for the millions of followers. That's not what floats our boat. But we're looking for real prospects, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a key platform for us, and growing in Thailand. So I think Facebook, obviously, Thailand dominates in Facebook globally. X, Twitter is becoming more and more popular here, but LinkedIn is also becoming popular. So if listeners are more interested, go to our website and follow our social media links. There's a great social wall on our website, so you can click and follow our socials.
Great stuff. Well, I think we're done for today.
That's it for today. We can get back to drinking and maybe spark up a cigar.
How unusual.
Next month.
We will see you all, or you can listen to us all again next month.
Thank you, Trevor.
Okay.
Seeking sponsors. Seeking an opportunity to sponsor. Looking to maximise an already sponsored opportunity. Visit paulpool.co.th, the sponsorship experts.